If you liked 19 simple psychological tricks that actually work, get ready, because what they didn't show you is where the real power lives. Those were surface-level moves. Now we dive into the hidden layers. Dark psychology that silently shapes results. No noise, no drama, just pure control. Today, I'll reveal 20 simple, dark psychological tricks that work instantly. These aren't casual tips. These are real tools of influence used to shift behavior, create emotional reactions, and control outcomes without people realizing it. And I don't want you to stay unaware while others keep using these tricks, maybe even on you. Learn them, use them, or get played. Let's begin. Trick 1. Compliment delay psychology. Most people compliment instantly. But true influence lies in delayed praise. Say nothing at first, and then casually drop a compliment later. The brain doesn't register it as flattery. It sees it as earned validation. This makes your words memorable and your presence magnetic. It's not about being nice. It's about being unforgettable. People crave approval that feels rare, and you just became their rare source of reward. Trick 2. Strategic flaw exposure. Showcasing a small, controlled flaw makes you instantly relatable. Say, "I sometimes overthink things," and move on. The brain reads it as authenticity. You don't lose power, you gain trust. People follow those who are human, not perfect. But be subtle. Too much vulnerability feels like emotional debt. The trick is to drop just enough imperfection to seem real, but still strong. That's leadership disguised as honest. Trick 3. The advice trigger. Can I ask your advice? Sounds light, but it's powerful. Instead of seeking help, which creates pressure, you're inviting someone into the mentor role. It activates their ego positively while making them subconsciously invested in your success. Advice is rarely rejected because it flatters identity. It's not manipulation. It's elevation. When someone feels wise around you, they want to stay around you. Trick 4. The silence weapon. After someone answers a question, stay silent. Maintain eye contact. Most people panic in silence. So they continue talking, revealing more than they planned. This works especially well during moments of truth or doubt. The brain hates empty space, so it fills it with honesty. Silence isn't awkward. It's tactical tension. And those who master it dominate without aggression. Trick 5. Power in pre-validation. Before someone takes on a challenge, say, "You've always been the kind of person who pulls through." It's not a compliment. It's an identity reminder. Their brain feels the pressure to stay consistent with how you see them. And guess what? They'll rise to it. Belief, when spoken before achievement, becomes fuel. You didn't just support them. You positioned yourself as the reason they succeeded. Trick 6. Emotional echo. Mention a personal detail they casually dropped days ago. "How's your sister doing?" It shocks the brain, in a good way. Most people don't listen, but when you remember the small things, it creates emotional gravity. You become unforgettable. Influence isn't in showing off, it's in showing you care when they least expect it. That's how deep rapport is built without trying too hard. Trick 7. Ego trap technique. Start by saying, "You probably already know this," and then drop your idea. This makes them lower their defenses. Why? Because you're framing the conversation as ego-respecting, not ego-challenging. The person feels seen as smart and is now more likely to agree. People don't resist ideas. They resist feeling inferior. Respect the ego, and it opens doors that logic alone never can. Trick 8. Break the mirror. Their body language for a while, then stop. The sudden break triggers a subtle emotional discomfort. They'll unconsciously start mimicking you instead, seeking to reconnect. You just flip the roles from follower to influencer, silently. The trick isn't mirroring for comfort. It's stopping it at the right time to gain control. Social dynamics shift in silence. That's where psychological power hides. Trick 9. Whispers. Win. Lower your voice during arguments instead of raising it. Whisper. It instantly forces the listener to lean in, physically and emotionally. Loudness provokes walls. Softness builds curiosity. The brain interprets calmness under pressure as dominance. This is why skilled negotiators speak slower and softer, not because they're weak, but because they already own the room. Trick 10. The permission gap. When someone wrongs you, don't confront. Instead, give them grace. Say, I know you had your reasons. It confuses the brain. They expect defense, not permission. Now guilt kicks in harder. You've placed yourself above the conflict, and they'll feel smaller without you ever lifting your voice. That's influence through elevation, not revenge. It makes them reconsider, and often repair.
Trick 11. The already know gaze. Ask a sensitive question, then stay silent while looking directly into their eyes, as if you already know the truth. This triggers anxiety in the subconscious. The brain starts doubting its own secrecy. Most people will reveal more just to relieve that tension. You didn't push, you pulled. This is silent persuasion. When you behave like you know, people feel like you do, and that alone unlocks honesty. Trick 12. Yes momentum. Before making a request, ask 3 small questions that'll get a yes response. This builds agreement rhythm in the brain. When you follow up with your real request, they'll be mentally inclined to say yes again. This is how sales closers seal deals, not by force, but by pattern induction. You don't fight resistance, you bypass it using rhythm. Every yes softens the wall for the one that counts. Trick 13. Rejection layering. Ask for something big first, something you expect them to decline, then follow up with your actual request, which now seems minor by contrast. This creates a subconscious obligation to say yes. It's called the door-in-the-face technique. The brain wants to stay fair. Saying no once makes it feel guilty, and guilt seeks relief. You're not manipulating emotions. You're aligning expectations for predictable compliance. Trick 14. Emotion interrupt. During someone's emotional story, gently interrupt and reflect their feeling, not facts. Say, wait, were you scared at that moment? You've now entered their experience, not just heard it. People bond over emotion, not detail. This is the secret of great listeners. It builds intimacy faster than sympathy ever can. You didn't just hear them, you felt them, and that creates influence no logic can undo. Trick 15. Undone vulnerability. Share a vulnerable moment, but leave the ending unresolved. The tension lingers. The listener wants closure, so they connect back, filling in with their own story. This technique is used in therapy, interviews, even relationships. The brain can't handle emotional incompleteness. It demands balance. Your unfinished wound becomes an open door, and that door often leads straight to the heart of the other person. Trick 16. The scarcity presence. Reduce how often you're available. When your presence is predictable, it becomes background noise. But when you create intentional absence, you create value. People don't crave what's always there. They crave what they have to earn. This isn't a game. It's respect for your energy. Scarcity builds attention, and attention builds desire. It's not about being distant. It's about becoming rare enough to matter deeply. Trick 17. Psychological ownership. Instead of giving instructions, ask questions that lead someone to your conclusion. What do you think would work best here? If they arrive at your idea on their own, they take ownership. People defend what they believe they created. That's how leaders inspire action, not through control, but through carefully planted autonomy. It feels like freedom, but it's direction in disguise. You're guiding from behind the curtain. Trick 18. Whisper dominance. In heated situations, lower your tone and speak slower. Whispers attract more attention than shouting ever could. Loudness invites resistance. Calmness disarms it. This isn't weakness, it's dominance through contrast. You're telling their brain, I don't need volume to be powerful. And people lean in. This is how top-level negotiators and charismatic leaders take charge, not by overpowering energy, but by commanding stillness. Trick 19. Memory injection. After a conversation, message the person a small detail they mentioned, like, good luck on your pitch today. It shocks them in the best way. You remembered. You cared. The emotional impact is bigger than any advice. Influence isn't always built in real time. Sometimes it's built in follow-ups. These memory injections make people think about you when you're not around, and that's where long-term presence begins. Trick 20. Reinvention sentence. When stuck in self-blame or judgment, say this aloud. That version of me no longer exists. This tells your brain to disconnect from the mistake emotionally.
You give your mind permission to reset. The trick isn't to deny your flaw, it's to reframe identity. When you declare the past version dead, people around you respond to the new you, even if nothing physically changed. That's mental alchemy. You didn't just watch, you felt it. If 20 dark psychological tricks that actually work unlocked something inside you, don't scroll away. Subscribe now, not later, now. We craft influence, power, and depth without noise. This isn't just another channel. This is Dark Psychology Solutions, where the mind isn't studied, it's mastered. Next video drops soon, but only those who stay gain the edge.